Hey, Tubies, it's Psychic Bob. Well, it is so good to be with you. Well, I hope you'll pardon the background noise. We got people doing construction on 2 units around me at the same time, so it's a little crazy. But anyways, I've gotten used to it, so if you can just tune it out. Well, I am so glad you're here. Well, first of all, I want to tell you, I'm sorry I didn't get out a video on Friday. Psychic Bob ended up having a lot of phone calls. I got real busy with readings and ended up just being a crazy day. Sometimes it's like that. But, here it is Saturday. I'm slowing things down a little bit. And I said, you know what? We are definitely having Saturday night seance. And even with the construction going on, I don't care. I'm in the mood to channel. So I'm glad you're here. For those of you who are new here, this is a weekly tradition. Every Saturday we have a Psychic Bob's Saturday night seance. And this comes out of the old spiritualist church tradition. And in the spiritualist church, we used to gather at a medium's home and we'd sit in a circle and the medium would go into trance and the spirit world would come through. And myself these days am also a trance channel. And what that means is I set aside my consciousness. I go into a trance, and spirit entities overshadow my mind and body and nervous system, and they speak through me. It's no pain. Don't be afraid. I'm fine. For those of you who have never seen channeling, it may seem a little strange, but you'll get used to it. But it's a wonderful way to directly hear from the spirit world. So I'm going to settle down and go into trance, and we'll see what the spirit people have. Thanks for being here. All right. I'll see you when I get back. Oh, greetings. This is Fletcher here. So good to be with all you tonight. The vibrations are high, and we're so excited to be coming through our medium. Well, I'll be stepping from the body. We got somebody else here who wants to be talking to you. This is Fletcher signing off. Since the ancient times of Babylon, there have been many who have wondered and looked upon the stars. I myself was someone who found fascination in the truths revealed in the heavens. Since the ancient times, man has said, what is his place in the cosmos? And I can tell you assuredly that we are far greater than what we appear. Many humans on the earth have decided to allow themselves to think of themselves only as flesh and bone. But flesh and bone are only one component of the true reality of who you are. You are within an eternal spirit, a spirit that has crossed lifetimes, a spirit that has seen the ancient world and been to the far distant parts of the galaxies. You have lived many lifetimes. You have been on earth in many incarnations. Some of you have walked even beside Jesus Christ in the time of his incarnation upon the earth. Some of you studied with the great Merlin during the times of King Arthur, and some of you roamed among the dinosaurs. There are even some of you who feel in your very self that you have a connection to the stars. You say that you have seen and felt as if you have lived on other worlds. This is also part of your constitution. When you return to the spirit world, you come to understand yourself in your totality. You will be able to review the Akasha, and the Akashic records show all of your lifetimes and all that has ever been, and yet all that will ever be. The past, the present, and the future are recorded there, and for those who wish to know the truth, it is available to you. If you limit yourself and believe the mythology that you're only a physical being, you will miss the true purpose of your incarnation. In this earth at this time, it is very much a prominent idea that there is nothing beyond the physical world. There are souls who choose to limit their experience to the, as they say, the here and the now, and they do not reach beyond themselves. This is a very limited view and very much and oftentimes a waste of incarnation. If you are to truly live and fulfill your destiny, you must integrate all of your reality. You are the body, this is true, but you are also the mind, and beyond that you are the spirit. It is the body, the mind, and the spirit that must work in harmony to complete a human. If you strip away any one of these elements, you're only partially human. And this is the mistake that is on the earth today. Many people become so enmeshed in the material reality that they do not consider that they are more than that. They only say, I am a body, I have this sensation, and when I die I will dissolve into the earth and be molecules. It is a falsehood that you will not exist beyond the grave. Each of you have a soul, and you will return to your Creator. And when you return to the light, you will become acutely aware of how limited your view was. This earth is a realm of density, and it is true that while here, it is very easy to forget who you are. It is very easy to become enmeshed in the material mire. Every soul that incarnates is given a warning, and also a help. It is told that when you go into the earth, you will forget much of who you truly are. This will be a challenge that you must overcome. They also told that along the way there will be way showers, helpers, angels and guides, and yes, even enlightened humans who will appear and remind you of your path and destiny. This is why each day you should begin your day with meditation. If you begin your mind with meditation, you raise your vibration, and then it is much easier to perceive the true reality of the world around you. Remember that there is a world within you and a world without you. The outer world is what blinds the inner world many times, but the two need not be in conflict. For if you start looking at the outer world through the lens of the inner world, you will see reality for what it truly is. It is true that the earth is a construct, a temporary classroom. It is made for us to learn and to experience. It is made in such a real way that the reality of what it really is often becomes confused with being the ultimate reality. But the ultimate reality lies beyond the material plane. When I was a young man and I was at university, I bought into the notion that we're only material beings. I had studied evolution, and my professor said, you're nothing but an evolved ape. You're nothing more than an animal. You have no consciousness beyond your physical self, and when you die you shall be as the plants and the animals, nothing but bones and carbon elements. It was this belief that took me away from considering higher reality. It made me walk away from my spiritual truth, and it allowed me to wander into vices. I became to believe that if this is all that there is, if there is no life beyond, then there's no need to endure one's suffering. This is what led me down the path of alcoholism and also drug use. And these drugs and alcohol uses are what weakened my mind further and took me farther away from my true self. When you abuse yourself with these chemical substances, you cloud the mind. The mind is like the lens that reflects the light of spirit and allows it to work in harmony with the body. And if you cloud the mirror of the mind, the lens of the mind, your perceptions will become dulled, and further you will become enmeshed in material reality. Do not be as I was. Do not walk that path. It will not lead you to any place that is of joy or prosperity. In my case, I came from a family of great wealth, but in the end I was destitute and penniless. I truly lived in a flop house, and I lived on a floor and had nothing. I hardly ate and was emaciated, and toward the ends of my life I even began to lose my mind. I lived in a wretched state, and the glory of former days was forgotten. This was all begun because I abandoned spiritual principles. I said to myself, if I am only an ape that is evolved, then I shall live like the animals. Such a mentality weakened me and took away the joy from my life. It is true that science has its place in the world, and we should recognize the wonderful achievements of science. But we must not let science override the truth of the spirit, for the two are not always the same. Yet they need not be in conflict. Science, if properly administered, would begin to understand the soul. Yes, even today there are scientists who are now beginning to say perhaps there is a reality beyond the material. Even some have studied quantum physics and discovered that string theory points to the concept of multiple realities, of alternating dimensions. And you see, this is far closer to the truth. Now, if only they could consider and extend this reality to the human element, then they would begin to be on the right path. Science and spirituality need not have a war. Religion is separate from spirituality. For religion is that this is, I know the way, and I must teach you the way, and there is no other way, and I am the only one with the truth. This also is a falsehood. For the truth is that the universe is multi-layered, multidimensional, and there are realities beyond any church's teachings. Churches, though some of them do very good and have truth, their truth is somewhat limited. So I encourage each of you, do not buy into the mythology that there is only one way and one doctrine. Do not buy either into science that says there is nothing beyond the physical. Each extreme is bad. Spirituality transcends both of these. And this is what I come from the spirit world to tell you, that you are more than just your body, that you are more than a collection of molecules. The body, the mind, and the spirit are in a harmony. And if you will embrace that harmony, you shall have peace and joy in your life. I hope that you will remember my words, and when you wish, you may call upon me. My name is Alfred. Greetings, my dear. This is Rose. It's a blessing to be here with all of you. You know, whenever I listen to Alfred, I cannot but smile. That young man, I tell you, has grown in the light so immensely. He is truly being a guide to many, and is an inspiration to all of us here in the spirit world. Please know that when you seek to know truth, listen to those who come with wisdom. It will help you very much. You know, the other day I was speaking to my friend Marge. You remember, she was my neighbour back in the old neighbourhood in London. And you know, Marge was a great spiritualist, and in her life she came to understand the truths of spirit. She always tried to share them with me, as I never would receive them, you see. But I tell you, since coming over here to the spirit world, I've had immense joy and immense pleasure in knowing her. And I'm so thankful for her kindness in helping me to grow in the light here. Over here you will have many opportunities to improve yourself. Never look upon yourself as a failure. You know, some of us, and myself included, at times in my early life, I would say, oh, I've messed that up. I'm really not quite on. And I would blame myself and get into self-pity and, depression. And that was really not advancing myself, you see. When you find yourself drifting into that self-loathing, self-hatred, say to yourself, as Alfred has said, that you are a body, a mind, and a spirit. And if you can, try to find joy and peace. Pray to God. Pray to your higher self. Find a higher power. Let that power animate you. Let that power work through you. It will bring you joy. And you will understand that you are loved greatly in our world. Even if the people of the earth hate you, know that there is always one person somewhere in the spirit world who loves you. Each of you have guardian angels, and you also have master teachers and guides. None of you come to the earth without a counsel guiding you. And even if you say you have no one left on earth, your family, your friends, and everyone you hold dear has abandoned you, there is one group of people that have not abandoned you. That group is your spirit council. So know that each of you have a spirit council. And if you feel like you're distant from them, simply call to them. You may also call upon me, and I will help you to connect to your spirit council. I'm so pleased to be here with each of you. Might I also remind you today that if you feel alone, reach out and find somebody else who's also alone. There are within every city those who feel abandoned. You might wish to visit your local homeless shelter and do some volunteer work. You might wish to give some money to the poor. You know, this time of the year on the earth is the Christmas season. And you know, we used to give money to the Salvation Army. I remember hearing them ring their bell in the streets of London. Oh, it was always a pretty sound. It was a silver bell ringing. I said, oh, it's Christmas time. And they'd say, Rose, that's the Salvation Army. I said, well, I know it is, but it's the bell of the spirit, you know. Even though at times even though I was not particularly religious, Occasionally, I would have a momentary breakthrough of spiritual awareness. And I must say, this the bell of the Salvation Army did that to me. It made me remember. It made me remember that there's beauty left on earth. I suppose I should have ended up in a far more distant and wayward place in the purgatorial realms had I not had the blessing of that little silver bell to ring in my ear. It really did bring me back. Try to understand, my dears, that it does not take great acts of enormous life-saving miracle to do good in the world. A little kind smile, a little offering of food to somebody perhaps hungry, a little donation in a Salvation Army kettle. All of these little things will help you to grow your spirit. They will help you to be closer to the light, and then you shall have peace and joy in your life. I hope that wherever you are today, that you will take a moment and reflect on the blessings of your own life. Even if you're at a place where you say, Rose, I have lost everything, I have nothing, I have no joy, you are at least able to hear my voice this day and know that I love you. Will you at least be thankful that you have one friend in spirit? If you will consider that, you will have the beginnings of joy in your life. And I promise and assure you, each of you have your counsel. Oh, I tell you, when I first arrived in the spirit world, those were the very first people I met after Fletcher, of course. It was a council. And they said, Rose, you've certainly had a challenging incarnation, didn't you? And I looked at all of them and I said, who are you? They said, we're your council. And I said, but you look so very familiar. And they said, yes, Rose, you remember us. It's been a long time ago, but we helped you to go to the earth in this last life. And as they spoke, I understood who they were. Each of you have a council awaiting you, and someday you'll see them again. Oh, my dears, wouldn't it be so nice that when you get to go home, go back to the light, you can go back with your head held high and said, I did the best that I could on that journey, and you will be welcomed and loved. And if you've had a journey where you will know that you have not necessarily done the best that you could do, make an amend and make an effort today to say, I shall make amends. I won't be bad anymore. I won't be hateful. I won't be negative. I will start each day new in love. Love covers a multitude of sins. My vicar used to say, Rose, love covers a multitude of sins. And who knows, very true. I learned it here myself. My dears, I thank you for being here. Fletcher has asked me to step from the body. He says that the power is growing weak. But I send each of you my prayers this day, and know that as you move through your month, that you are not alone. And let me come to you, and if you will but call me, I will come and help you. You will not be alone. Well, guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this seance tonight. I know I sure have. You know, whenever the spirit people come through me, it just uplifts me, brings me a lot of joy. You know, it really connects me back to the spirit world, and I'm just glad that you're here to experience this with me. You know, if you enjoyed today's seance session, you might want to stop over to my website and I'll put the link in the box below, robert-hickman.com. Pick up a copy of my book, Messages from Rose. It's a wonderful book. It tells about my work with my spirit guide, and it was a great time. You know, especially in the early days. It tells about a lot of my adventures. It's an autobiographical book, and I think you'll really enjoy this. It'll give you a better sense of my life and my work with Rose, and a better sense of her as well. So, you know, stop over today at my website at robert-hickman.com, link below, and pick up a copy. And, you know, while you're there, you could pick up another copy for a friend. It'd be a wonderful holiday gift. I am so glad you guys are here. Well, listen, thank you for being here. I hope that you'll show me some love today by liking this video, favorite it, share it with your friends, and if you can, hit subscribe. Be part of our channel. We sure love you to be here.
Well, guys, thanks for being here. I love you. Keep it here. We got more coming on tomorrow. It's tomorrow Sunday. We're going to have something mystical and fun tomorrow, so make sure to be back here. And, of course, next Saturday night we'll have another Saturday night seance. Blessed be.